They died the Spartans' death, but not in hopeless strife. Like brothers died, and their expiring breath was freedom's breath of life. At the very first wreath laying, on this day 51 years ago in 1967, my Uncle Patrick started his remarks with those words, the very last verse of the Hymn of the Alamo by Colonel R.M. Potter. The Feast of St. Patrick's Day has become more than just a church holiday and has become a celebration of all things Irish around the world. While some negative stereotypes are associated with the day, it is always important to remember the origin of this day. This may come as a surprise, but the man known as Patrick wasn't even Irish. He was kidnapped from Wales and held prisoner in Ireland for 6 years. But if you know the Irish, he fell in love with the Irish in the time he was over there. This is the Cliff Note version of this history, but he escaped, he became religious, and then decided to return and convert the island of Ireland into Christianity. While he brought religion to the tribes, he also incorporated many of the pagan rituals and mythic tales into the Catholic religion there. And you can thank the Irish for the Halloween celebration. Now fast forward to the very first St. Patrick's Day parade, which was in New York City in 1762. And as with all immigrants, the Irish strived for dignity and respect. And the aim of the first parade was to show Americans that the Irish were indeed worthy Americans and contributing to the society. Now to bring us back to Texas. A few years after that first parade, the earliest recorded Irishman here in South Texas, Hugh O'Connor, was the Spanish governor of this area in 1767. It was this Irishman who laid the cornerstone of Mission San Jose, which is now, along with the other missions, a World Heritage Site. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Irish women. Mother Mary Margaret Healy Murphy started not only the first private school for blacks here, but she also established a new congregation of the Sisters of the Holy Ghost to run it. And it seems fitting that all this history is part of this San Antonio celebration of the 300 years. But it's important that we take the time to remember the Irish that were part of those 300 years. The Consul General of Ireland in Austin, Adrian Farrell, said at our 50th anniversary, the Harp and Shamrock Society is not resting on its laurels, but rather looking at new and innovative ways to ensure a long and healthy future. The dream of even having an Irish embassy in Texas became true 3 years ago when the Irish government decided to open a consul general in Austin. And now, due to the popularity and all the work he's doing, they're going to bring a second Irish consul to join him in Austin. All right. Thank you. The ideals of St. Patrick and the Irish of peace, love, and understanding are still evident today in the Irish Prime Minister, or Taoiseach in the Irish language. Leo Varadkar had his first visit to Texas last weekend at the South by Southwest Festival. He gave an interview with Evan Smith of the Tribune and proved that even if you're only half Irish, you are all Irish. The Taoiseach's father's from India and his mother's from Wexford. But to quote him in the interview, he said, "Ireland is a greater, stronger country because of the immigrants." He said Ireland learned that from the United States. And the proof is that this country, the United States, is still great today. And he says, "We of Irish descent surely relate to the immigrants and the difficulties that they're going through today." I'd also like to just take an opportunity to thank my amazing wife and last year's Irishman of the Year, Carolyn Dowd, without whom I would not be standing here today. Thank you. And just to wrap it up, also I borrowed from Uncle Pat from that very first speech. He reminded us that 15% of the Alamo garrison was from a country 1/6 the size of Texas. He said that the Irish were of the same stock of the men who had fought throughout the years, both in Ireland and here in the colonies, and during our revolution. And perhaps As these Irishmen realized that the end was fast approaching here on this ground, their thoughts returned to the green fields of their birth. And like another Irishman, Hugh Cargill, who died on Bunker Hill, they might have thoughts similar to these. How strange, O God, that reigns on high, that I should come so far to die, and leave my friends where I was bred, to lay my bones with strangers dead. But I have hopes when I arise, to dwell with them in yonder skies. Erin go Bra, happy St. Patrick's Day.